Ladies and gentlemen and graphic designers, we're going to do part 2 of lesson 5 for Photoshop. We're going to mess around with the layers. Alright, so here we go. So we're going to get started with messing around with the layers. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab the layers palette. I made it separate and big. If you don't see it, you can go view and click on, where would it be? We're going to go window, layers, click on it, make sure there's a check. Got to find it. I just dragged mine around and made it bigger so we could see. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to get rid of some of the stuff we don't need. So I'm going to turn off all the layers except for the picture, and you can see there's this extra white thing around it that we don't want. Somebody probably scanned this thing. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the magic wand tool, and we're going to change the tolerance to 22, and I'm going to select the, first of all, we have to make sure, see how I'm on the wrong layer, so it won't work. I got to click on this layer. So again, I'm going to click on this empty stuff that we don't want, and I'm going to hit Shift, and I'm going to also click on this. So we have all the stuff we don't want. Now what I need to do is select the stuff that we do want. So I'm going to go Select Inverse. Okay, so now we have the stuff we do want. And by the way, the reason I did this and this are super easy to select. This is a little bit more challenging, and so that's why I selected what I didn't want and then did Select Inverse. At any rate, so with that in mind, I'm going to click on the mask, and we're going to have, we got rid of the stuff that we didn't want. It's still there. We could bring it back if we wanted. We didn't do any, we just did non-destructive editing. So we didn't destroy any pixels. No pixels were harmed in this video. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the shell. We've got a bunch of stuff we don't want. So I'm going to select. And again, I did the classic mistake. I'm on the wrong layer. Got to click on the shell layer. Click. And then I hit Shift and I click. And you can see I got way too much. Way too much. So my tolerance is too high. I'm selecting too much stuff. So I'm going to get this way down. Let's try it again at 5. So select, Shift, select. Okay, so you can see now that I've got everything but the shell. In the same way, I'm going to go Select, Inverse. I only have the shell, and I'm going to mask it. So I got rid of that stuff. All right, let's see what's next on the agenda. So the next thing is we're going to rearrange the stacking order. Okay, so we got to get the stacking order the way we want. And so let's turn on all the layers. Okay, so I don't need this white background, so I'm going to just turn that off. So the blue is on the bottom. Then the next is going to be the paper texture. So right now I'm adjusting the stacking order. Okay, the letter, what comes next? Then the letter, then the photo, then the shell. Something like that. That's about the order that we want. So we rearranged the stacking order. Okay. Okay, so write this down in your notes. Opaque means not see-through. Semi-opaque means kind of see-through. Okay, so we're going to change the paper texture. So let's play around with our paper texture. So follow along with me here. Okay, so we're going to turn off everything. Let me grab my layers palette here. Okay, so we're going to turn off everything but the paper texture and the blue background. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that layer. I'm going to grab the Move tool. I'm going to kind of move that up where it needs to go. Okay, something like that. That looks good. Okay, and then we're going to come up here to opacity. We're going to change the opacity to around 50%. So you can see that it's see-through. So we can see some of the blue background through it. And then the next thing is we're going to change the blending mode. This is how it interacts with the pixels underneath it. And you can try any of these that you want. I'm going to hit the arrow key, and you can see if you look over here, you can see by hitting the arrow key I can scroll through the different ones. I'm going to stay on luminosity. You can put it on whatever one you think looks great. Okay? So we have luminosity. So you can see it makes a really nice texture. So kind of interesting. And then from this point, you can adjust the opacity to whatever you think looks good. I think that 75% looks perfect, but you can put the opacity to whatever you want. All right, so we're going to link layers. Linking layers allows you to move and transform them. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the photo and the letter layer where we want them, and then we're going to link them. Okay, so let's go to, there's my beautiful layers palette again. Okay, so we're going to go to, we've got the letter and the photo, and I guess we can keep this paper on. All right, so we're going to get the letter. Nope, that's not it. I'm going to go edit, undo. Okay, so I'm going to click on the letter, and I kind of like it where it's at. I guess I'm not going to move that. Let's click on photo. I'm going to move the photo like right here. Okay, so get it kind of looking where you want. So notice even when we're doing a collage, sometimes the rule of thirds applies, kind of put the subject where it belongs. So I kind of like it right there. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make these two things can move together, right? And so I need to lock them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the photo, and I'm going to hit Shift. I'm going to click on the letter, and then I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to say Link Layers. And so now if I ever try to move anything, they move together, okay? And if I want to shrink them, if I press Control and T to transform, and I can shrink them. By the way, notice how it's getting like super skinny. I need to hit the Shift key to constrain the proportions. I don't want anything getting super weird. So make those the size that you think looks good, okay? And then we'll call that good. Okay, so we're going to hit Enter. Make sure we're going to click off of there to make sure our transform has worked. I've got to apply the transform. Apply. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. File, save. You're going to make sure you save your project, and then that's it for today. And we're going to go ahead and go on to the next video after this.